Good day to all educators, especially to your Dean, Dr. Angelica Cortez, to Ma'am Blisilda Acapito, syempre ang aking dating teacher sa CIC, Dr. Chris Francisco, my high school BFF hanggang ngayon, and all program chairs, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. At it's a great privilege for me to be invited as one of your speaker po. I noticed talagang mabibigat ang inyong mga naimbitahan, and I'm asking myself, why am I here? Maybe because Sir Chris and Mom Bless saw me as a leader. Because to understand what leadership is and to recognize leaders, you need to become one. The fact that they recognize me, they saw me as a leader, it means they are leaders themselves. And why are you here? Because you are a leader. And for those students, you are a leader also. But I am telling you, the hardest person to train as a leader, sino yan? Yourself. Because only you can hinder your development. Only our excuses, our low expectations about ourselves can stop us from reaching our full potential as leaders. Yes, I am a leader, but I was not born as one. I was made a leader. Leaders are not born, they are made. So today, I want you to decide, I want you to choose and believe in yourself that you are a leader. Okay, say it with me. I am a leader. Again, I am a leader. You know, every person has his or her own ability trapped inside. So I believe in you. You are not attending this webinar just because of compliance, just to comply, parang ganun. But I believe that this time is really God's appointed time for all of us. For you to hear this, maybe to wake you up, to motivate you, and cause you to stand up, you know, and take things into action. And this one, to bring out the best version of yourself as a leader. Remember, true leadership is not about control. It's about service. True leadership is not about power, but empowerment. True leadership is not about manipulation, but inspiration. True leadership is not about people, but purpose. It's not pursuing people to follow you. You need to discover your purpose, then they will follow you. Leaders do not seek followers. You know, I was given a manual to share with you, so I think we need to study first the manual as learners. Okay, first let's talk about the principal task of a leader. Kung sa pamilya, ang tatay ang haligi ng tahanan. Sa isang institution naman, ang pundasyon ay ang leader because the leader's principal task is participation in institution building. Hindi maitatayo ang anumang institusyon, organisasyon kung walang tagapanguna kasi nagkakagulo yan. Ayon po kay Matthew Lynch, it can be best described in this imagery. The visible worldly structure is a brick structure. This construction often emerges impressive and generates a feeling of greatness. Diba? Pag may nakikita ka parang wow, napapawaw ka na lang. So great. On the other hand, behind this strong material structure, at napakalaki ng gusali, napakalaki ng naitayo, there is a strong, invisible, and intangible force liable for the growth of this structure, which is truly called as leadership. Yan. So, napakahalaga po ng ating mga role bilang mga leaders. Pero sa akin po, sa aking leadership, there is really an invisible force, but very visible in my heart and in everyone's heart. Behind our success is God. Kung sinasabi natin na behind a man's success is a woman, ganun din naman, ano? Behind every successful institution is a great leader. Pag may napapadaan ho dito sa aming bayan, napapalingon sa Solomon, sino ba yung may-ari niyan? So they ask, who put that up? Sinong nag-build niyan? So kayo ho, darating yung panahon, meron kayong legacy na naitayo, maiiwan ninyo, and people will ask, who built that? Diba? Who knows where he is going? Ang isang leader, ang isang great leader, alam niya kung saan siya patungo. Siya ay sure kung ano ang kanyang nakikita and also carefully plans every step of the way to bring the institution to its highest possible level. So, hindi ho nanghuhula ang isang leader. Sigurado siya, alam niya. If there's no vision, the Bible says people perish or people are destroyed. So, it's important na ang isang leader ay mayroon hong pangitain. No, mula sa pangitain na ito, siya po ay lilikha ng isang misyon na kanyang lalakaran at itatatag. Ang Solomon's Excellence Academy po ay nagmula sa puso ng Panginoon at kanyang ipinadaloy sa amin. Kami ay sumunod sa pangitain na itayo ang isang private school. Kung hindi naman ho kami sumunod, maaari namang gawin ng iba yun. But the moment when we saw that vision, we said yes to the Lord. At sa isang fourth class municipality, at sa panahon na yun ay 2008, ay walang naniwala sa amin na posibleng mangyari yun. Dahil hindi pa naman ganoon kadami or hindi pa ganoon talaga na-establish ang mga private school na magsisimula ka sa maliit, di ba? Kaya kung mayroon tayong vision, just go for it because if there is vision, there is provision. So once na may vision ka, pagpatuloy mo lang, huwag kang matakot, umpisahan mo at bahala ang Panginoon na ipagpapatuloy ito. According po sa inyong manual, the foremost task of leadership is not to give surety in every venture. It is related with developing vision that works for a mission which assures illustration and identity. Leaders build values, design path, and provide directions. Hence, it is appropriate to say that leadership builds institutions. Diba? So, may legacy ka, may naiiwan ka, no? Wala ka na dito, pero yung pangalan mo ay nagre-ring pa ng bell. Maybe you were right. Doc Jason and I were leaders because we built the institution since 2008. It survived the test of time even during this pandemic wherein some private schools na nag-shutdown na nga, no? Due to financial problems. But, we continue to thrive despite this crisis because very clear sa amin, it is clear for us from the very beginning that this is how we will be able to serve our community by providing employment also sa aming mga guro at sa kanilang mga pamilya and of course, quality education. Okay, let's move on to the 10 traits of successful school leaders according to Joseph Lapitan. Ayon po kay John Maxwell, success is knowing your purpose in life, growing to reach your maximum potential, and sowing seeds that benefit others. Actually, ito lang yung quote na to, baka abutin tayo ng 3 hours. I love talking about success, purpose, potentials, I love talking about it. But, you can never be successful unless you find the whys of your life. Bakit ka nga ba pinanganak? Bakit ka ba guru ngayon? Bakit nandyan ka sa lugar na kinabibilangan mo ngayon? Ba't yan ang pamilya mo ngayon? Kapag hindi natin alam kung para saan ang isang bagay na nilikha, malamang ma-abuse ito, di ba? Abuse means abnormal use. Ayaw naman natin ma-abuse tayo bilang mga nilalang, di ba? With the purpose trapped inside of us. So, what is your purpose in life? To find this, you need to answer the 5 essential questions of life. First question, who am I? Sino ka nga ba? Sino nga ba tayo? This is a question of your identity. Number 2, where do I come from? Your origin. Number 3, what can I do? Ano nga ba ang pwede kong magawa? Number 4, why am I here? Ba't ka pinanganak? Ba't nandito ka? Ba't nag-e-exist ka? Hindi ka lang matter that occupies space and, consume all the resources of the earth. Because you're going to do something. Number 5, where am I going? So you need to understand the answer to these 5 essential questions of life. So this is a very long topic, but that's just an overview of some of my motivational talk in other leaders talk. Okay? As a leader, you need to answer clearly these 5 questions for you to say that you really found your purpose in life. Finding your purpose is another long talk. Sabi ko nga, I have a topic just for this. And if I will be given another chance to share with you about leadership, I will gladly share this. But for now, I want you to know that purpose is when you know and understand what you were born to accomplish. Diba? You were born with it. Something you were born with it. But you have to unleash that. You have to discover yourself. God created all of us for a purpose. We are not just a face in the crowd. We are not just random people. Sabi ko nga kanina, we are not just matter that occupies space and has mass. No, iba-iba ang weight and mass. Ako medyo nag-gain na ng weight, you know. And we are not just here to consume resources. Find your purpose. Find your strength. Find out what you are born to do. And, you know, focus on it. Cultivate it, develop it, for you to reach out your full potential. Now, bring out the best in you. Gaya ng lagi namin sinasabi sa Solomon, bringing out the best in every child. Yan. So, yun yung ginagawa namin. The following 10 traits are common among the most successful school leaders. First, they understand the importance of building community. Effective school leaders build and sustain reciprocal family and community partnerships and leverage those partnerships to cultivate inclusive, caring, and culturally responsive school communities. Maraming leaders pero kakaunti lamang ang effective leader. Dapat ang goal natin ay maging mabisa tayong leaders. Marami kasi umiinom ng gamot pero walang bisa, sayang, di ba? So, marami, kunwari leader, display lang pala. So, we need to be effective, nalalasahan, nararamdaman, may impact, may nangyayari, may result, especially nararamdaman sa ating community. To build these community networks, it is essential that school leaders are visible in their schools and community, develop trust, and create a sense of transparency and shared purpose with your parents, staff, community members, and students. Mahalaga ng isang leader ay social person. Hindi pwede mahiyain. Ako ay mahiyain dati, but I choose to go out, i-try ang mga bagong bagay. Hindi naman halata, po. Dapat ang isang leader magaling siyang makihalubilo, makisama, all walks of life. Dalhin ka sa mababa, gitna, taas, kaya mong makisama. Marunong din tayo dapat makinig, syempre, at mag-adjust sa anumang sitwasyon. Resourceful tayo, Hindi masyadong demanding, pero alam gumawa ng paraan. Dapat, syempre, mapagkakatiwalaan. May character, may integrity, may honesty. Hindi na lamang po tayo bounded ngayon sa physical community. Tandaan po natin, mas marami ngayon ng social media community where people are updated, they can react, they can share their thoughts and ideas, they can share, follow, and like the page or the community that they have in social media. So, ganyan na po, medyo nag-iba na. Hindi lang maliit yung community, kundi mas lumawak pa. At kami nga po ay nabiyayaan din na magkaroon ng mga shows sa television dahil sa pandemya, At umi-air din po ito sa YouTube, Facebook. Ang Counter Blessings po, andyan, kasama ang ating Governor Cherry Umali at ang Heart of Wisdom, kasama ang aking husband na si Doc Jason de Guzman. So make sure, to build your community. Number 2, they empower teachers and cultivate leadership skills. Sabi nga natin kanina, leadership is not about power, it's about empowerment. Diba? A great leader is somebody na kapag nakita ang sasabihin ng mga pinangunahan niya ay, that person motivated me. That person empowered me. Diba? Hindi lang yung powerful leader ka, but you empower people. Great school leaders know that they are not running a one-man show, that they cannot do it alone. Dapat napapahalagahan natin mga katuwang natin sa ating pamamahala. Kasi sabi nga ni John Maxwell, 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. It's lonely at the top. Hindi ho masaya, nasa top ka nga, nag-iisa ka naman. Mas masarap po na nandun tayo sa taas, na kasama din natin sila. At marami tayong kasama. Okay, mas maganda ang may kasama dahil pag nanghina ka, lalakas ka. May magpapalakas sa'yo. Pag bumagsak tayo, may magbabangon sa atin, di ba? Kaya let us appreciate, let us value people, and of course, let us make sure that we empower our people. There is a big difference, no, between a boss and a leader. A boss manages their employees while a leader inspires them to innovate, think creatively, and strive for perfection. Every team has a boss, but what people need is a leader who will help them achieve greatness. You will know who is a true leader when they inspire you, they motivate you, and bring out the best in you. Leaders are not insecure, leaders are not controlling, and of course, they are not manipulating. Sabi nga ni Todd Whitaker, great principals focus on improving the quality of the teachers within their buildings by carefully hiring the best teachers, by supporting their efforts and their ambitions, by holding all staff members to high expectations, and by working to carefully support the individual development of each professional. Principals impact student achievement. So, Solomon po, ang aming mga guro ay hindi lamang magagaling. Sila po ay masusunurin din, no? At meron po silang kalayaan na i-improve nila ang kanilang mga sarili nila. At nakakatuwa po na ang Solomon, kapag alam nila na ang teacher ay galing sa Solomon, inag-aagawan po sa mga public school because of the training na doon po sa pangalan na nakakabit sa kanila kung saan sila nagmula, no, itong mga teachers natin. Sa ngayon nga po, sa liit ng aking eskwelahan, meron po akong 2 consultant at isang principal at may isang assistant principal pa para lamang matutukan ng mga guro at mga mag-aaral dahil napakahirap po talaga na naging transition natin, ano? Naging challenging ito para sa ating lahat. Kaya kailangan po talaga nating mag-adjust. Okay, pangatlo, they utilize data and resources. Successful school leaders are use data, including standardized and school-based assessments, to drive continuous improvement through site-based decision-making for the express purpose of promoting equitable and culturally responsive opportunities for all students. So, kailangan natin ng data, ng resources, ginagamit natin yan to improve, for improvement po, hindi para itago. No? Ginagamit, pinag-aaralan para gamitin sa improvement pa rin ng ating asosasyon. Sabi nga po ng Walls Foundation, when it comes to data, effective principals try to draw the most from statistics and evidence, having learned to ask useful questions of the information, to display it in ways that tell compelling stories, and to use it to promote collaborative inquiry among teachers. They view data as means not only to pinpoint problems but to understand their nature and causes. Sa pamamagitan ng mga data na to, naiintindihan natin kung ano ang nangyayari at nagagamit natin ito sa real setting, sa totoong setting, ano? By just gathering and using this data for development. Pang-apat, they have a vision and a plan. Ako, napakahalaga na to. Hindi ka maaaring maging leader kung di mo alam saan ka pupunta, kung kailan mo ma-achieve ang goal mo, at kung paano mo ito gagawin. Kasi hindi, paikot-ikot ka lang, di ba? Kaya bawas-bawasan natin ang detours. Bawas-bawasan natin ang stopovers at lalo-lalo na ang U-turn. Ang leader ay nagpapatuloy po sa kabila ng anumang challenge na kaniyang kakaharapin sapagkat malinaw ang kaniyang vision at walang dapat makahadlang para marating niya ang dulo ng tagumpay. Kaya yung ending po ng story mo, sa buhay mo man o sa gusto mong ma-achieve, naku, planchado na po yan sa kamay ng Panginoon. Maniwala ka lang, huwag kang magpapadala sa mga negative na nangyayari ngayon, no? Dahil maganda po ang ending ng story. Okay, vision is perhaps one of the most important qualities a leader can have as it provides momentum and direction, not just for the team leader, but for each and every team member, no? So lahat may role to play sa vision na to. Ano ba ang vision? Vision is when you see it in your mind and begin to imagine it. Nakita mo? No? Yun yung patutunguhan mo, nakita mo, pero ginras mo na yon bilang isang realidad. Totoong-totoo sa iyo yun. Vision and passion from an effective leader should generate inspiration. Dapat na-inspire tayo dito, motivation, and creates excitement, no? And permeates throughout the school. So, dapat damang-dama po yan, mga pinamumunuan natin, no? Iba po yung vision, iba yung passion. Pero pag pinagsama po yan, mararamdaman yan sa ating pinamamahalaang institution. At kapag sila ay na-inspire sa kung paano tayo mag-lead sa kanila, na-motivate natin sila, na-excite natin sila, I don't think po na may tatama rin sa ilalim natin. According to a successful school leadership, effective head teachers provide a clear vision and sense of direction for the school. Ito na naman yung effective, di ba? They prioritize, they focus the attention of staff on what is important and do not let them get diverted and sidetracked with initiatives that will have little impact on the work of the students. Yun yung sinasabi natin, na wala namang masyadong distractions, na wala nang mga detour, na focus ang kailangan. Marami kasing bagay na pwedeng kumuha ng ating atensyon at mawala tayo sa ating goal. Hindi lang ho sa pagiging staff, hindi lang sa pagiging teacher, hindi lang sa pagiging principal or leader, kung hindi kahit mismo sa buhay natin, ano? Huwag tayong mapahinto ng mga iba-ibang ingredients na hindi naman mahalaga doon sa dapat nating pupuntahan, and sometimes learn to say no. Most of the time, learn to say no. You will say no dahil yung mga pinapagawa sa atin o yung mga bagay na sidetrack lamang ay para alisin lamang tayo sa papunta sa goal natin, and you need to say no kasi ubos oras, sayang naman ang panahon, di ba? So we need to focus doon sa ating goal. Panglima, they create collaborative, inclusive learning environments. Inclusive learning provides all students with access to flexible learning choices and effective paths for achieving educational goals in spaces where they experience a sense of belonging. So, nag-raise tayo ng generation na hindi nakabox, hindi nakakahon lang, hindi takot sumubok ng mga bago. Meron silang freedom to discover who they are and also find their purpose and become great people in the future. You know, in our school, sa akin pong pinamahalaang eskwelahan, naging principal din po ako nung una, at marami po doon na mga estudyante na hindi nagpe-perform at laging na-office, at palagi silang nambubuli, palagi silang may sumbong ang teacher. Pero pag dinala po sa akin ang bata, ang lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila, I believe in you. At isang araw, babalik ka dito sa school na to, you are driving your dream car, and you have the business or you have a name na pinangarap mo. And I believe in you. Yun yung lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila. At to my surprise, although hindi naman ako masyadong sa surprise, after ilang years na po ang Solomon, ay may mga bumabalik na po sa aking graduates telling me na talagang naging successful po sila. No? Naging successful po sila. Yung mga hindi mo in-expect na magpe-perform sila ngayon, yung mga nagpe-perform. Diba? Kaya, ang ganda po na magamit natin yung ating position to motivate people, to influence people without imposing. And not only dun sa nasasakupan natin, but also, di ba nga, yung mga taong nakakasalamuha natin. We radiate, sabi nga natin, no? Ang glory na ibinigay sa atin ni Lord. Leaders that prioritize inclusive learning also typically believe that every person can contribute to the greater learning community, and therefore they encourage collaboration between faculty as well as students. So kung alam ng tao na mayroon siyang role to play, may halaga pala siya, hindi ho magdadalawang salita kayo dyan, mag-i-involve yan. Perhaps the most critical role in successful inclusive schools is the role of the principal. Kaya malaki ang gampanin po ng punong guro. Meron na ho akong mga principal, kaya hindi na ho ako ang principal ngayon. The school principal's active participation is the single most important predictor of success in implementing change, improving services, or setting a new course. The school principal is central to facilitating systemic change and leading faculty to adopt new attitudes and new practices. Kaya dapat po ang principal, lagi siyang updated, may new learnings, non-stop ang exposure, pagsasaliksik sa ano na ba ang bago, ano ba ang kailangan sa panahon na to, no? Baka po na-stuck na tayo sa 1940s o 1900 yung kaisipan natin. Hello, 2022 na po. Now we need to be open to change because it is the only permanent thing. Change is the only permanent thing on earth. Everything changes, but God does not change in His words, di ba? Kaya naman pong sitwasyon na meron ka ngayon sa buhay mo, pansamantala lang yan. Kung taghirap ang school mo ngayon, pansamantala lang yan. Kung mababa ang sweldo ngayon, pansamantala lang yan. Dahil magbabago din yan for the better. Dadating ang panahon, you will say, tapos na yung tagtuyot, eto na, prosperity na yung kasunod. Pang-anim, they are passionate about the work. Sabi ni John Maxwell, passion gives you an advantage over others because one person with passion is greater than 99 who have only an interest. Nako, kaya dapat, no, hindi ka lang curious o interesado sa isang bagay. Dapat may passion tayo, no, para dito. Ibig sabihin, mararamdaman ng paligid sa atin, nakapaligid sa atin, at yung mga taong pinamumunuan natin, susunod dahil nakikita sa atin. Dapat po kasi yung ginagawa natin, masaya tayo. Gusto natin yun. Hindi napipilitan lang. No? Hindi yung ang bigat mong gumising sa umaga, hindi ka masaya, nagre-reklamo. No? Walang passion yun eh. Diba? Dapat masaya tayo sa ginagawa natin kahit di tayo bayaran. Ginagawa natin kasi passion natin yun. Passion natin. Passionate people have a contagious energy that can greatly affect teachers' satisfaction and drive as well as student performance. Kapag may passion sa ginagawa, nako, kitang-kita po yan. Susunod po sila. No, hindi mo kailangan ipilit sa kanila ang vision mo, no, mahahawa po natin sila sa passion natin. Hindi po din tayo yung tipong titingin sa relo kasi gusto ng dumating yung 4 o'clock kasi uwian na. Hindi po gano'n, no? Hindi nga siya kayang pigilan ng kahit na anong sitwasyon kapag passion niya yung ginagawa niya. All the knowledge in the world can't make a good leader. It's the care for the work and the people who collaborate with you that makes the difference. Sabi nga ni Forbes, di ba? So, sabi nga, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, no? Hindi po paramihan ng alam, no? Sabi nga ni Solomon, 'di ba? Hindi sa matatalino, hindi sa mabibilis, no? Hindi patalinuhan, hindi pabilisan eh, 'di ba? Hindi pagalingan, hindi paramihan ng nalalaman. Kung hindi, palakihan ng puso sa ginagawa, palakihan ng pagmamahal sa kanyang nasasakupan at institusyon na kanyang ginagalawan. Dahil kung hindi po natin mahal ang ating ginagawa, di natin mahal ang ating institusyon, pag nasaktan po tayo, pag tayo ay may kaunting nakitang hindi maganda, iiwanan natin yan. Iiwanan natin yan, no? Pag may delays, pag may negative na nangyari, may problems, may shakings, nako, hindi mananatili ang isang tao na walang pagmamahal sa kanyang institution. Kaya, you need to work together for the sake of your institution. This is in large part because people want to follow a passionate leader, someone who cares about not only the cause for which he or she is working, but also the other people who are involved in the effort. Passion for the projects, for the company, and for the people involved are key to successful leadership. Pang-pito, they encourage risk-taking. Ang tunay na leader, hindi nagtatagal sa kanyang comfort zone. Palaging iniisip niyan, mag-level up pa more. No? Huwag matakot sumubok, huwag kang matakot mabigo, huwag kang matakot magkamali. Dahil failure is not a person, it's just an event. Hindi ka failure, ikaw ay isang successful leader na nag-take ng risk. At anumang pagkadapa, dapat may courage kang bumangon ng bumangon dahil hindi naman binibilang ni Lord kung gaano kadaming beses na dapa, di ba? Binibilang niya kung gaano kadaming beses tayong bumangon at sumubok muli. For though a righteous man may fall 7 times, he still gets up. Failure is required for learning, but our relentless pursuit of results can also discourage employees from taking chances. To resolve this conflict, leaders must create a culture that supports risk-taking. Sabi po yan ng Harvard Business Review. May risk, pero dapat po may assurance ang pinamumunuan natin na andun tayo para suportahan sila. Ano man ang mangyari, hindi yung tayo pa ang unang maninisi sa kanila o magda-down kapag sila ay nagkamali. You can make mistakes, learn from them, and move on. Pangwalo, they lead by example. Sabi nga, practice what you preach. Kung anong sinasabi natin, yun dapat ang nakikita sa atin. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na, gawin mo ang sinasabi ko, pero huwag mong gagawin ang ginagawa ko. Naku, hindi po pwede yun. Kailangan makita sa atin kung ano ang nais nating makita na ginagaya nila. Leaders who lead by example position themselves as tremendous role models for not only the students in their school or district, but for colleagues and parents as well. Ito yung tinatawag na modeling. No? A leader that leads by example almost always receives respect and admiration, without which he or she will find a little lack in leadership. As philosopher and physician once said, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. Sabi nga, no, kung nais mo maging influencer sa iyong institution, sa iyong community, sa pinamumunuan po natin, be a good example for everyone to follow. Pangsyam, number 9, they persevere. Nagpapatuloy sa kabila ng hirap, sa kabila ng pagsubok o kakulangan man. Hindi umaayaw. Wala po sa bokabularyo niya ang salitang I quit. Ayaw ko na. Hindi uso yan. Quitters don't win and winners don't quit, remember? The best leaders, therefore, are willing to commit to school and persevere despite the obstacles or challenges. The great challenge siguro na kinaharap natin, sabihin natin itong pandemya, no? Lalo na sa aming mga private school. And also naramdaman din yan ng mga parents at mga students. After all, realizing a vision doesn't happen overnight. True transformation takes time. So, hindi naman agad-agad na nangyayari ang mga pangitain natin. So, it takes time. May ginagawa pa, may nire-repair pa si Lord sa buhay natin, kaya hindi pa nangyayari. A leader's commitment displays not only passion, but dedication, which can have a tremendously positive effect on school culture. Ask yourself, are you committed? Dahil ang commitment, hindi ho nakabase yan sa nararamdaman natin at the moment. No? Hindi ho dapat nakabase sa sitwasyon, mga pangyayari o mga nakikita natin. Dapat nakabase, lagi yan. Ang commitment mo ay nakabase sa iyong destinasyon na dapat marating, your goal. Diba? At panghuli, number 10, they are lifelong learners. Patuloy na nag-aaral, nagsasaliksik at syempre teachable. Kahit po marami na tayong alam, dapat na manatili pa rin po tayong humble at syempre masarap katrabaho. Perhaps the most important of all qualities that a school leader can possess is the unquenchable thirst for knowledge. Sabi po ni John Kennedy, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. The best leaders, no matter what industry they work in, they know they will never know it all. Hindi natin malalaman lahat, hindi natin alam lahat ng bagay. May limitasyon ang kaalaman natin. Tayo ang Diyos ang nakakaalam ng lahat ng bagay. We need to be humble. Diba? Kahit marami na tayong alam, they are humble in their knowledge yet confident in their abilities. They're endlessly curious individuals who never stop questioning and learning. Sana po huwag tayong mag-aral, no? Upang ma-improve, ma-develop pa yung anumang kakayahan na mayroon tayo. Okay, now moving on to the next topic, the styles of educational leadership by Matthew Lynch. Sabi po ni Ronald Reagan, the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is one that gets the people to do the greatest things. Mahalaga, mayroon tayong ma-develop na kagaya po natin. Ipalabas natin sa kanya yung pinaka-mainam na mayroon siya, na bring out the best in people. And there are 4 major styles of leadership which apply well in educational setting. Ito po yung servant leadership, transactional leadership, emotional leadership, and transformational leadership. I-overview lang po natin, ano? Kasi maubusan tayo ng oras. Number 1 is servant leadership. Galing po kay Jesus to, sabi niya, if you want to be great, you must be a servant of all. There is no sense of self-interest on the part of the leader. Kapag servant leader ka, mas iniisip mo ang kapakanan na nasasakupan mo kaysa sa iyong pansariling kapakanan. The primary issue with servant leadership is that it's not viable on an organizational level, in large part because it does not keep its eye on the prize. No, malinaw sa kanya yung ginagawa niya, maglingkod. Hindi dahil ano ba yung makukuha ko, kundi para sa ikauunlad ng institusyon, kaya niya ginagawa yung kanyang ginagawa. No? Sa ngayon po, very rare jewel na po ito ngayon. Dahil karamihan po kasi ngayon, what is there for me? Now, what's in store for me? What is my reward? How much will you pay me? No, servant leadership is very different. So if you want to be called great, first, be a servant of all. So sana ma-call out ko attention. Let us all become a servant leader. Pinakamaganda po yan. Pangalawa is the transactional leadership. Ito, kaiba ito sa servant leadership dahil ang ano dito ay give and take. Ang hallmark ng transactional leadership. It is indeed model just like, it's like a business transaction, di ba? I work, you pay me. Now, employers need work done and employees do that work in exchange for money. We pay people because of who they are or what they can do. We pay people kasi yun yung expertise nila. We pay the doctor, diba? We pay artists, we pay people who will do the task that we ourselves cannot do. So, ganyan po yung karaniwan na nangyayari, no? But I am telling you, we need to go beyond money. No? Let not money be your motivation why you do what you do. Sana sa webinar na to na makita natin na hindi lamang po pera ang dapat mag-motivate sa atin para maglingkod. Dapat malinaw sa atin na mayroon tayong higher purpose, higher reason, higher mission, bakit ginagawa natin ang ginagawa natin. Do not work for money dahil ang pera nauubos, nawawala, nananakaw, di ba? Pero kapag gumawa tayo dahil malinaw sa atin na ito yung purpose natin, ito yung dahilan bakit tayo nilagay, kung nasaan tayo, ito yung dahilan bakit tayo pinanganak at create ng ating Creator, we will be rewarded more than what money can buy. We cannot buy contentment, we cannot buy happiness, we cannot buy joy, we cannot buy peace, and all these things, ito yung mararamdaman natin, makukuha natin, right? Mas mainam na mag-impok tayo ng yaman sa langit sa mga magitan ng pagiging mga mabubuting katiwala sa mga bagay na ipinamahala sa atin ngayon, sa mundong ito while we're still here. Sabi nga, pag faithful tayo sa maliit na bagay, ipagkakatiwalaan tayo ng mas malalaki pa. Nagsimula nga lamang pong Solomon sa maliit, sa likod bahay. Ang tawag ko namin doon ay likod bahay. At sumikip na yon para sa amin. So God provided a bigger place na kung saan mas nakakapaglingkod na po tayo sa mas marami-rami. Okay, pangatlo, ito yung emotional leadership. Emotional leadership is concerned with the feelings and motivations of followers. Kapag feelings, para sa akin, medyo marami po kasing naliligaw pag emosyon ang pinaghana o ang ginamit pag nag-focus tayo doon. Kasi nagkakaroon dito ng padalos-dalos na desisyon. Dito, hindi stable ang decision making. Dapat hindi po tayo emotional. Dapat, pag leader tayo, dapat, anong thinking? Professional. Dapat professional level po tayo. And pang-apat, transformational leadership. For education in particular, transformational leadership offers the best of everything. Sarap naman nun. We offer the best, bringing out the best. From tapping into emotions of workers, to offering the compensatory core, siyempre mababayaran ka dyan, and that is the case for all forms of business, to guiding from a place of support. Diba dapat ito yung balance, to transform people and to transform your institution, you need to offer the best of what we have. Be a leader na may impact, may nangyayari, may napapatunayan. Okay, so move on na po tayo sa styles of managerial leadership. There are two styles of managerial leadership. Number one is the boss-centered leadership. Ito yung use of maximum authority by the manager and too little freedom for subordinates. Ito yung nabanggit natin kanina, di ba? Bigay lang ng bigay ng instruction, lahat sa kanya galing, at ang gagawin lang ng mga nasa ilalim ay susundin ang mga utos niya. Okay, pangalawa is the subordinate-centered leadership. Minimum use of authority by the manager and bigger area of freedom for subordinates to act and take decisions and to function within limits defined by manager. Ito naman yung may kaliyaan ang pinamamahalaan natin to explore, to make decisions, pero syempre may limitasyon. Kailangan dito yung malaking tiwala At dapat may na-improve na yung mga pinamamahalaan natin para pabayaan natin silang gumalaw sa sarili nila. Pero dapat po lahat bounded pa din ng vision ni leader. Hindi ibig sabihin po ay magkakanya-kanya na po tayo dito. Okay? And let's talk about the management process. Paano nga ba ang tamang pamamahala? Ang Solomon po ay pinasimulan, sabi ko nga kanina sa likod bahay, lakas loob, risk taker. Yan kasi kami. And syempre, kasama din ng pagiging isang mabuting leader dyan ay ang pagmamanage. So marami pong bumabagsak, maraming hindi makaipon dahil sa personal natin, diba? Kasi kulang ng management. Marami nga daw poor dahil lack of management. Management is a process to emphasize that all managers, irrespective of their aptitude or skill, engage in some interrelated functions to achieve their desired goals. So as managers, you give direction to reach your goal. Sabi nga ni Peter Drucker, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. No? So we just don't do things hindi lang dahil inutos ginawa, no? Pag leader ka, gagawin mo kasi tama. There are 4 functions of management. So, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So, first, yung mga managers, they must set a plan. And then, organize resources according to plan. And then, lead employees to work toward the plan. And finally, of course, control everything by monitoring and measuring the effectiveness of the plan. So let's talk a little deeper about the 4 functions or steps of management process. Una, planning and decision making. So determining the courses of action. Di ba bago tayo magtayo o mag-umpisa ng anumang bagay, kailangan upuan muna natin para alam na natin ano ba yung kalalabasan nito. Dahil kapag hindi ito natapos, pwedeng maging daan ito para makotsa tayo, pagtawanan tayo, di ba? Masabi sa atin, hindi nga skugo, nag-uumpisa lang. Hindi natapos. Na nagpasimula, pero di tinapos, di ba? Sabi nga ni Jim George, it's not how you start that's important, but how well you finish. No? Magagaling sa simula, pero sa simula lang. Now, planning means setting an organization's goal and deciding how best to achieve them. Malaga, malinaw po yung goal natin, yung nais nating gawin. Ano ba yung nais nating patunguhan? Dahil kung walang goal, sabog-sabog ng trabaho, sayang po yung oras, sayang ang panahon at resources. Pero sablay naman, di ba hindi nahihit yung target, hindi nabubullseye, pawala po tayo ng pawala ng araw, pero puro the please lang. Planning will diminish this. Planning is decision-making regarding the goals and setting the future course of action from a set of alternatives to reach them. No? Isa sa dapat ma-develop sa isang leader ay yung magaling sa decision-making eh. Sa kanya nakasalalay ang future plans ng isang organisasyon. No? Sa Solomon po, tinatawagan nila ako pag may mga big decision-making na gagawin. Pero yung maliliit, they can handle it by themselves. The plan helps to maintain managerial effectiveness as it works as a guide for the personnel for future activities. So, kaya po tayo may planning para ito po yung susundin ng lahat. Selecting goals as well as the paths to achieve them is what planning involves. So, sigurado yung tinatahak. Planning involves selecting missions and objectives and the actions to achieve them. May mission ka, may patutunguhan ka, at syempre, hindi lang nakasulat, may action na gagawin. It requires decision-making or choosing future courses of action from among alternatives. In short, planning means determining what the organization's position and the situation should be in the future. So, futuristic to, no? Nakikita talaga natin, no? Kaya mahalaga, katandem to dahil may vision ka, so ito na, magpaplano ka na. And decide how best to bring out that situation. Okay, for a manager, planning and decision-making require an ability to, foresee, to visualize, and to look ahead purposefully. Babalik ka ulit dun sa vision mo, no? Kaya kung walang vision, you will be destroyed. People perish for lack of vision. You don't know where you're going. Ikot ng ikot, walang destinasyon, ano? And you have to set, no? And plan for that. Pangalawa, ito na, organizing. Coordinating activities and resources. Organizing can be defined as the process by which the established plans are moved closer to realization. May plano na, ngayon naman, organize na ang mga pangangailangan para ma-execute ng mga plano na to. Marami nga daw magaling sa planning, Kaya ang tawag nila, drawing lang yan. O, bakit? Kasi hindi na isa sa katuparan. No, meron ding mga institution, pagpasok ng New Year or New School Year, planning tayo, planning. Pero pag binalikan ba natin yung mga planning natin last year o yung mga sumunod, ginastusan pa nga natin, nagbaon pa tayo ng adobo, di ba? Kasi planning. Ang tanong, may nangyari ba doon? Let us not just stop doon sa planning. Make your plan work. Once a manager sets goals and develops plans, his next managerial function is organizing human resource and other resources that are identified as necessary by the plan to reach the goal. Napapasok na dito po yung organizational structure para hindi po nagkakagulo-gulo, nagkakabol-bol ang gampanin ng bawat isa. No? Wala pong tabunan ng role, walang kainan ng trabaho. No? Kung ano yung gampanin mo, yun po yung pagbutihin po natin. Baka ho tingin tayo ng tingin, kinukumpare natin yung sila sa atin o tayo sa kanila, mukhang detour po yun, no? Sa goal natin, sa destination natin. So we have to have that focus. Kung ikaw ang nandoon at yun ang trabaho natin, pagbutihin po natin. The organization can also be defined as an intentional formalized structure of positions or roles of people to fill in an organization. So dapat malinaw po yung position at gampanin ng bawat tao sa kanya-kanyang area of expertise para ma-achieve natin ang ating goal na nagkakaisa. Kasi yung nagagawa ko, hindi niya kayang gawin. At yung kaya niyang gawin, hindi ko kayang gawin. Kailangan natin ng isa't isa. The purpose of an organization structure is to create an environment for the best human performance. So, para lumabas yung best sa ating lahat, sa inyong lahat. No, kasi doon ka malakas, kaya doon ka inilagay. Yun ang strength mo, kaya yun ang pinagawa sa'yo. Kaya mahalaga, kilala po natin yung mga nasasakupan din natin at willing sila to do what they are called to do. Not only willing, but also capable. So, dapat alam natin yung capacity and ability ng ating mga pinamamahalaan. Pangatlo, leading na. Okay, managing, motivating, and directing people. The third basic managerial function is leading. It is the skills of influencing people for a particular purpose or reason. Kaya you can never be a leader unless you know your purpose talaga, no? We influence people without imposing what they must do. So, hindi lang tayo utos ng utos o bossy around. We really understand what is happening. Leading is considered to be the most important and challenging of all managerial activities. Kaya, di ba, sabi ko nga sa inyo, iba ang manager, iba ang leader. Leading is influencing or prompting the member of the organization to work together with the interest of the organization. So, yan po yung tunay na leader. No? Pinag-iisa po niya ang kanyang mga tao. No? Yan ang tunay pong leader, hindi yung makasarili o pansarili yung iniisip niya. Kung hindi, ang kanyang mga ginagawa ay para sa kapakanan ng kanyang institution. Pang-apat, controlling, monitoring, and evaluating activities. Bakit kailangan ng monitoring? Para syempre maging successful yung ating institution. Monitoring the organizational progress toward goal fulfillment is called controlling. So, hindi yung controlling na manipulating. No? So, talagang minomonitor natin. Monitoring progress is essential to ensure the achievement of organizational goals. So, minomonitor natin kung doon pa ba papunta yung path na tinatahak ng lahat. Okay, what is controlling? Controlling is measuring, comparing, finding deviation, and correcting the organizational activities which are performed for achieving the goals or objectives. Controlling consists of activities like measuring the performance, comparing with the existing standard, and finding the deviations and correcting the deviations. Our next topic, the role of leadership in institution building. Administrators have role involvement with regards to their responsibility as administrator of a certain institution. Primarily, administrator is responsible in planning, organizing, controlling, coordinating, supervising, evaluating, providing leadership, recording and reporting, and also promoting close relationship between the school and the community. So, medyo mabigat, pero kapag passion mo, sabi nga natin kanina, kahit maraming dapat gawin, ginagawa po natin ito ng may kagalakan. Okay, let's talk about the administrator first. Administrator as a leader. Administrator has a key role in leadership as well as initiating change in the institution and the community. Being administrator, one has an important role in leading the institution resources into improvement and success. So bilang administrator po, ang akin pong goal talaga ay maging successful. Hindi lang yung institution, kundi yung produce, yung mga bata, yung mga mag-aaral at syempre itong mga guro na nagtatrabaho dito po sa aming paaralan. Second, administrator as an agent of change. Administrator has a role in initiating change or an agent of change in the institution and the community. Hindi lang change, kundi change for the better dapat, no? Lahat may space for improvement. And let us allow ourselves to learn new things and change our mindsets as well. Administrator serves as mediator, bridging the gap between the institution and the community or the environment. Isang mabigat na task, pero kayang-kaya po natin. Pero para po sa buhay pong ito, naniniwala po tayo na ang tanging mediator po natin ay ang ating Panginoon para magkaroon po tayo ng lakas para magampanan natin ang lahat ng bagay na ito. Promoting close relationship between the school and the community is an important function of the administrator. Third, administrator as planner. So administrator acts as planner in the institution simply because one of their fundamental functions or responsibilities is a careful planning. Pero sa akin nga pong sinasabi, hindi lamang basta plano, no? Make it happen. Fourth, administrator as organizer. Being an administrator, you need to have skills in organizing those complex tasks of bringing together the necessary human resources along the required physical plant and equipment materials into an operating unit. Fifth, administrator as director. Ako ay naging directress ng una kong Montessori noong itinayo ito. Administrator is responsible in carrying out all educational programs and deciding who shall carry out the plans, determines the subjects to be included in its course, provides for physical equipment necessary to carry out the work, and also issuing orders, holds conferences, and supervises activities. I've done this task and it's not easy. People will sometimes misunderstood us, but we need to balance things to, of course, attain our goal. Sixth, administrator as controller. Administrator supervises his people under him according to their set goals. He needs to see if there are problems and errors so that he could intervene and help them to correct it. We are here to, help you out, not to condemn you or bring you down. Seventh, administrator as coordinator. Proper coordination done by the administrator is needed to overcome the limitations of planning and organizing as well as the inherent limitations of the personnel. This bridges the gap between the people, resources, and the product itself. It is the responsibility of the administrator to coordinate all the programs and activities of the school in the community and make all these things in harmony, which will lead to the success of any program. So we coordinate, we communicate, and of course we must be open and be transparent. 8, administrator as supervisor. The administrator has a role in making the educational program effective. He needs careful supervision, studies of those methods and techniques to improve the teaching and learning process. Now we supervise, we just don't boss around, recommend people. We supervise because we want to make sure that we will get the best result. Okay? 9th, administrator as evaluator. Administrator has a role of establishing and maintaining effective feedback circuits which an adequate evaluation can provide for purposes of identifying whether project plans are pursued by the people as expected. We continue to evaluate to know kung may need tayong i-adjust to make things work. Yan. So yan po yung mga part ng manual po ninyo that I need to present as part of the lecture. I just delivered an overview actually of your manual, and if you want to know the detail of the lecture, I think Sir Chris has a copy of this manual. It's a great pleasure po to be with you all. So Para po sa call to action natin, start writing your vision on paper. And of course, make it happen. You are a leader. There is greatness trapped inside you that is ready to be unleashed today. I pray that I succeed in motivating you, in waking you up to become the best version of yourself as a leader. And I want to take this opportunity also to promote my upcoming single po. Sabay tayong mangarap, pwede po yan, sa, it's a love song, no? At i-release po ito sa November 29 sa lahat po ng digital media and other platforms, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, TikTok, Wishing App, YouTube, and you can download and stream on November 29. So here is a sample of that.
Sabay tayong mangarap, tagumpay na hangad ating mayakap. Kasama natin ang Diyos, lahat posible, lahat kakayanin. Bukas, ngayon at magpakailanman.
And also, count your blessings with Congresswoman Cherry O'Malley every Saturday, 10 a.m. Live TV channel and Facebook page, DWNE TV 48. And of course, Heart of Wisdom with my husband, Pastor Jason de Guzman, Sabado, 8 a.m. Live TV channel and Facebook, Signal 183 and other cables like Sky Cable at iba pa po. And of course, Solomon's Excellence Academy, your wise choice. Ako po si Dr. Kit de Guzman, ang inyong naging lingkod ngayon. Nawa po ay napagpala kayo sa aking naibahagi sa inyo. God bless us all.